Well, good morning from the boatyard. I'm down today to start the first of my winter projects, and that's going to be servicing and winterizing the engine. It's now mid-December, so I'm kind of late getting started with these projects, and particularly the winterization. So I'm going to do that today. I'm also going to have a bit of a look around the boat. I've noticed some indentation on the deck, and I'm worried that that's mast compression. So I'll have a look at that and see. Hopefully it's not mast compression, but I'll have a look and see if it's just kind of indentation in the deck, or whether there's something a bit more serious going on. So it's a bit cold and windy outside, so let's get started. Whoops. Okay, so here's the engine. It's a Yanmar diesel 2GM 13 horsepower engine. So to extract the old oil out, I can't get at the sump, which is underneath here. We have to go in through the dipstick. We have to go through the dipstick holder, and to do that I needed to buy this little tool. It was only $9.99, so hopefully it'll work okay. So before I start trying to extract the old oil, I'll turn on the engine and run it for a couple of minutes, and then that should warm the engine up and make it easier to extract out through the hole using this syringe type tool. Of course, we are up in the hard, so there'll be no water coming in through the sea cock there. So I'll get a bucket of water to put the hose into, and then as we start the engine, then that'll suck up the water for the cool the engine. Okay, so this is the tube attached to the syringe. As you can see how awkward this is. I've already extracted most of the engine oil out. I'm just going to give you a quick demonstration of how this works. So I'm basically just extracting air up from the dipstick tube now, and this container is a litre container. So I've managed to fill an empty 900ml container and this 100 or 1 litre container. So 1900 mils. Now it says it's 2 2.1 litres in the engine oil, but that's as much as I can get out of the engine now. So I'm going to go ahead and try and change the oil filter and then just replace the new oil. So I need a little drip pan of some description. Try and catch any oil come out. Just leave this little rag in to catch any residual oil coming out of the engine block there. So this is the new filter. And I'm just going to compare the two because I've had trouble ordering parts for this engine in the past, if you've seen my second episode with the impeller fiasco. So I'll just compare the two and hopefully the company have sent me the right one. Okay, as per Yanmar's handbook, servicing handbook, 15 watt 40 engine oil is the oil that should be used. So that's what I've got here. And just have a look at these two filters. It's the same. So what I'm going to do is use a bit of the new oil. I'm just using a drop of the new oil to lubricate around the little sealing O-ring. As I've seen in a few other YouTube videos, and I've never actually serviced an engine before, not on a car, definitely not on a boat. So this apparently lubricates the little rubber O-ring and stops it gripping when you're screwing the filter into place, and stops it like tugging the O-ring out of place or like nipping it and breaking the seal. So So they say just to put the filter on hand tight. Now that might be a little bit less than hand tight because there's some oil on the filter, and of course my hand's just slipping off it, so I'll try and give that a bit of a clean up and just a little bit more of a tighten. Managed to clean off the filter there and give it a little bit more of a tighten, and I've cleaned off the dipstick, so I'm going to put the dipstick in place and then start topping up our engine oil. That's all the engine oil topped up. There you go. And we are up to our full line, so that was the perfect amount. That's our fill line there, and the engine oil is just sitting right at it. Dips back in place. Okay, so that's the first part done. Engine oil and filter changed. I'm now going to tackle the fuel filter. And like I've said in one of my previous videos, that this diesel tank looks like a bit of an antique, but I'm assuming there's a little tap underneath here, and that's the cut-off tap. So I've turned it. Hopefully that'll stop any fuel running through. So the proof of the pudding's in the trying, as they say. So this retaining ring, the fuel filter housing that holds it on there. So I've seen people taking them off like this. I don't know whether it's such a good idea. They tap it off with a hammer and a screwdriver to loosen it off. I can see it moving there, but I feel like I shouldn't be doing this, that there's another method. This is my improvised diesel catcher. Okay, so I hadn't realised that my GoPro, the SD card was full on the GoPro, so I don't know how much of that you got, but basically this is the old filter and it sits up in the little holder like that, and then it was held on, that was the wee filter housing, which has got some diesel in it, and I just want to have a wee look through that when I empty it out to see if there's any sediment or bits of debris in it. So this little retaining screw then held it on. So I've screwed that off, took off the housing, and this little filter popped off. So this is the old one and this is the new one, and I just want to compare the two because it just was a wee bit weird that he ordered the wrong things. Now they're the similar size and the same shape, different color, but I'm assuming that means nothing. It just depends on the manufacturer. So this should then just pop up into a little holder here. Yeah, so that just slaps on like that, and it's held in place. So I've just emptied out the housing, and you can see there's quite a lot of dirt and particles in there. So I don't know when the last time that the engine was serviced or the fuel filter was changed, but there's a lot there, so it was definitely due a good change and service. So I'll give this a clean out then and put the filter housing back on. So there we go, that's it cleaned out. I don't know if you can see in there, but any wee particles have all been removed, so that's ready to go back on. I have cleaned out the housing for the fuel filter and got rid of all the debris, cleaned that out, and cleaned off the mating surfaces with these two, and that will just drop in like that. And that's bloody holes. And that should screw back on there. So that's that on. So we will open the diesel tank valve to let the fuel come through. We'll have to open the bleed nut, and because this is full of air, open the bleed nut, and there's a little pump beside the fuel lift pump, I think it is, a little manual pump, and we can pump it to push the fuel through and bleed the air out of here. So we'll have to look out for fuel coming up through this. So that's a little bleed screw opened. I'm just following the little fuel line down, and that'll take my to the little pump. And so apparently this can take a bit of time. Because we have to fill this complete chamber up with diesel, so okay, so that seemed to take forever, but we've got fuel coming through, and I'll go ahead and tighten up our little bleed nut. So that's that bit done. The fuel filter's been changed, the oil filter's been changed, the engine oil has been changed. I've bled the fuel system up to here. So I think that's me good to go. So as I've previously mentioned, one of the big issues that I want to look at, or a potential big issue, is what I think could be mast compression on the deck. So here's the mast, and just to either side of it, this side's not the worst, but maybe a few inches away from the mast, just kind of running out the way from it, there's a bit of an indentation starting here, very shallow on this side. It goes out about 6 inches, not as noticeable there, but I can feel it. Just running down from about here, just a bit of a mild indent to about here. Worse on the other side, as you can see here, or as you may or may not pick it up. So there's a lot of cracks and chips, spider cracks and chips on this side, but it's the same just coming down from the mast. A few inches away from the mast you can feel a bit of an indentation here. Just kind of goes in about this width down into this area here, and kind of actually stops about here. So I don't know what's going on. It doesn't go beyond kind of the edge of the anti-slip here, although this is horrible looking with all these cracks and chips here. I don't know why that would be on one side and not the other, unless something has fallen here or what. I don't know, but we'll go inside and have a look at the ceiling just underneath where the mast would be. So what I've started doing to get a better look at the ceiling is pulling all this headliner off. It's turning into a bit of a nightmare and a mess, and I've removed the panel off the support beam here where the electrics go up into the mast, but I can't. I know the mast sits here obviously because the electrics go up into the mast there, so it's sitting about here, and this is where the indentation would be. I assume out this way, but I really can't feel anything. So I don't know whether it is mast compression or whether it's just some kind of damage on the deck. So if anybody watching has any experience with this kind of thing, or have came across this before, if you could let me know in the comments whether you think it's mast compression, whether you think it's just damage to the deck that needs to be repaired, whether you think the mast needs to come down and a stronger support or something to be put up. I just honestly don't know. This is all very new to me. So if you can leave any comments that would help, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. Well folks, that's all I've got time for this week. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch and leave some really helpful supportive comments on the previous videos. I really do appreciate it. And if you can help out with any of my up and coming projects, then please by all means leave a comment. Thanks again for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, or follow along on Instagram. Thanks a lot.